Hello, this little video is designed to assist technicians in replacing paddle boards and transceivers on the rear of 5ESS switching equipment. Here we see a typical BKF1 type paddle board for a 5ESS TMS unit. And this board is laid out with the receive leads, which are going to be the blue fibers from the SM plugging into this paddle board on the rear of the TMS unit. They're divided by the first SM, which is labeled A here, and the second SM, which is labeled B. Typically, two classic SM DLIs terminate on the back of this paddle board. So we're going to have SMA, which might be SM3, and SMB, which might be SM4. The labeling is stenciled on the paddle board: receive A, receive B, transmit A, transmit B. At the CM end, the receives are the blue fibers and the transmit are the white fibers. So you're going to need to label them before you do this operation so we don't get the fibers mixed up. So here I've actually labeled the fibers. Here's SMA, a white and blue, and SMB, a white and blue. In addition, we have this blue retainer. This is basically a locking device that holds the paddle board onto the backplane so it doesn't come loose from vibration or whatever. And on this device, there's a metal band with a post in the middle on this particular one. And this device slides over the pins on the backplane. This is where a lot of our problems come up when technicians try to remove these paddle boards and the blue retainer comes off. We don't want that to happen. We want the blue retainer to remain on the backplane during the whole operation. So here's another view of it. Now this metal band is designed to lock over a little ridge right at the back side of the connector, and that backplane pops in and locks to that ridge, preventing the paddle board from coming off. Okay, so remember the blue fibers up on the receive terminals and the white fibers on the transmit terminals. They're reversed at the SM end. The white fibers become the receive, and the blue fibers at the SM and back of the DLI become the transmit. Here we have the typical BKF1 mounted on the backplane. And this is a very easy view to see because it's not completely equipped. It's not really even a TMS backplane, but I'm using it for instruction purposes. Typically, you'll have multiple paddle boards lined up against each other, and it'll be hard to see in there, and it'll be hard to work with it. But for simplification, we're doing it this way. So to remove the paddle board, I find it easiest to push the paddle board over to the left slightly. What that does is it gives you a bigger gap between that metal band we talked about and the back surface of the paddle board here, so you can get a spudger in there and work it. And typically I start at the top and I push out on the band. So you wedge your spudger between the back surface of the paddle board and the inside surface of the band, and then you work your way down. So if I can get the top out like that, and you work your way down to the bottom half, to the bottom part of the top half, I should say, if you can get that band past that ridge, then you can go down to the lower half of the paddle board and do the same thing. And it popped out. Okay? As far as removing the fibers, you can remove the fibers before or after you've popped out the paddle board. But remember, there may be considerations like in most cases you're powering down the unit, and in a lot of cases the instructions tell you to unseat the board at the affected position you're working with before you do this. After we're ready to replace it or roll the paddle board, when we're ready to reinstall it, I push it in. And another common mistake is sometimes people won't have it all the way in up against the band, and they'll put it on the wrong set of pins, exposing a column of pins. This can damage the paddle board. So you want to make sure you install it in the original position it was in on the pins. Again, I push in slightly to the left and gently push in on the paddle board, and sometimes you'll hear a little lock or a click, and that's put back into place. So I hope this helps and clarifies some of the issues related to changing these paddle boards out. It's a common cause. Don't feel bad that if it doesn't go right for you, because we do this over and over again with technicians, because it's not something you do every day. I hope this video helps, and good luck.